Hey guys, so I'm back with another candle review, and this time around it's for the 14.5 ounce 3-wick beach weather candle from Bath & Body Works, part of the Black History Month collection, featuring 4 fragrances from the perfumer Michael R. Carby. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool that we actually have a person or perfumer behind some of these fragrances, but I was really excited that we have beach weather in this collection as well, because the other 3 are pretty much just the general repackages that we get all the time, but beach weather was a fragrance that came out last year, and I really didn't enjoy it whatsoever. I think in my candle review I even said that I would never repurchase this and that I really didn't like it. But after the review had ended, I was just kind of burning it casually and I really grew to appreciate it. And it was just something just very like salty and refreshing and natural about it that I actually really enjoyed. And I was like, oh, I don't think we're ever going to get beach weather again. So I was super excited to actually see it here in 2023. So here we are. The notes on this read sun-dried sandalwood, island coconut, breezy palm trees, and crashing waves. So yeah, what does this smell like? I think this is supposed to be a very heavily inspired fragrance from the wood sage and sea salt fragrance from Jo Malone. And if you read the description on their website, it matches a whole lot with like the what it smells like description on the Bath and Body Works website as well. It's actually quite similar to the Linen Shores fragrance if you've ever had that from Bath and Body Works. And then lastly, there was a fragrance called Sea Salt and Sandalwood many years back in the White Barn collection that had like a Mediterranean tile wraparound label on it. I think it's actually quite similar to that as well. So I think Sea Salt and Sandalwood like perfectly captures what this fragrance actually smells like. But in any case, if you haven't smelled any of those, what does it smell like? It's pretty much a very salty sandalwood fragrance. You definitely get like a earthy, dirty sandalwood fragrance that's not too far off from the sandalwood we get from like coconut sandalwood or Japanese cherry blossom. But I think the saltiness does cut off like some of the sort of grody, dirty edge that the sandalwood that normally from Bath and Body Works we get has. So it's still like the most like it's tolerable sandalwood that I have experienced from Bath and Body Works. But that sandalwood is definitely in there. It's like a woody fragrance. And I think it is indeed mixed with a little bit of like a sage fragrance, which it gives like this herbal, almost like a warmth or a nuzzly feel to it. It's definitely in there. It gives it like a slight crispness in there as well, mixed with the sandalwood. And then you do get heaps of like a salty fragrance in the whole candle. Just kind of smells like dirty, sandy action at the beach. And so I guess beach weather does kind of aptly describe what this fragrance kind of smells like. But I think the saltiness is coming from like the sort of grapefruit notes that are mentioned in sea salt and sandalwood, as well as the Jo Malone fragrance. And it's not like a heavy citrus fragrance by any means, but it's kind of like an unsweetened grapefruit zest is kind of what gives it that sort of salty component. And it's mixed with that sort of woodsy, dirty, gritty, sandy, sandalwood and sage feel is definitely in there. And then it says island coconut, breezy palm trees, and crashing waves. Like, okay, what does that really smell like? But I don't really get coconut in this fragrance. It's just really like a straight up like a very salty sandalwood and a little bit of a sage fragrance is pretty much what I get from this. But yeah, overall, it just kind of smells like a very natural interpretation of like running your hands through like dirty, sort of gritty sand at the beach. And then you smell a very like natural, salty air quality like coming in from the waves. But there's nothing sweet or fantasy about this whatsoever. It doesn't have like a huge like coconut presence that you normally get from like a pina colada type of tiki beach fragrance. Nothing at all like that. It's just very earthy and gritty and dirty and sandy, and I think that's what was so off-putting about it. But then once I like became to appreciate the fragrance just for what it was, I enjoyed that it was kind of refreshing and very realistic to actually being at the beach without it being like super sweet or tropical fruit or anything like that. So that's when I really started to grow to really appreciate it, because it's clean but dirty at the same time. But I don't know, it's really cool. So that's pretty much what the fragrance smells like to me. Moving on to the performance, this is the third burn. It does the usual super sooty burn from Bath and Body Works. If you go it for like more than 3 hours, it makes the mushroom tops and does soak quite a bit. So make sure you keep on trimming it and keep it to the 3 hour burn time frame. As for the throw, I have to say this is actually weaker than last year's, which is kind of a bummer, because I remember last year's version just being like actually quite potent or quite strong, especially in like a smaller bedroom area. Sometimes it would be a little bit too much, and I remember being like, oh, I don't really like this fragrance. Why is it so strong? But now in this version, I feel like it's definitely more in the lighter range. I struggle to smell it sometimes in a living room area. I would say like anywhere from like a 3 to a 5, whereas I thought last year's version was more like up to a 7 or 8 in a bedroom. I would say maybe like a 5 to a 6 in a bedroom and more down to like a 3 or a 4 in a living room area. So yeah, kind of a bummer there because it just doesn't seem anywhere near as strong as last year's. Overall, yeah, I don't know. I just like the change of pace this fragrance provides. And it's like, once again, like salty, but clean and refreshing, but sort of dirty and natural at the same time. And it's just a really interesting like texture to this fragrance that I quite enjoy. That just isn't quite captured in any of the fragrance that I have in my collection. So I'm still very happy to be reunited with this fragrance and to see it again for a second year. The throw does kind of blow on it that it's a little bit weaker than last year's, but I'll still kind of enjoy it and just appreciate, I guess, in a smaller room. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this candle, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.